Hi, everybody. It's Neerja from It's All About Women. And today I'm talking to a real woman with real wisdom. And today this wisdom is all about love and miracles. So today I'm talking with New York Times bestselling author Marci Shimoff. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Marci because I got this wonderful bio that I want to read to you because it's just chock full of very impressive stuff. She is a #1 New York Times best-selling author, a world-renowned transformational speaker, and an expert on happiness, success, and unconditional love. So that's why I'm so excited. She's an expert on love. I mean, how great is that? Her newest book, Love for No Reason, 7 Steps to Creating a Life of Unconditional Love, debuted at #3 on the New York Times bestseller list. And in it, Marci introduces a revolutionary program to live in a deep and lasting state of unconditional love, and shows you how to access that at any time and any circumstance. So just think about that for a minute. I mean, if you are not interested in love and leading a life of love, I beg you to ask yourself why. So with that being said, I want to welcome Marci. Hello, Marci.
Hi, Neerja, and hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here with you.
So I'm so excited. The first thing I've got to ask you is you have these great books. You did Chicken Soup for the Soul, Happy for No Reason, but I love titles. I love titles that are simple, but they have it all. And I think Love for No Reason is like the goal of life. I mean, tell me what made you want to write that book. What is it about love that you had to write a book?
Well, I actually, so to answer that, let me just go back for a moment to why I wrote Happy for No Reason.
Okay, good.
I wrote Happy for No Reason. I had written 6 of the titles in the Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul series, and I'd really cooked all the chicken soup that I could possibly cook. I was like, done with chicken soup. And so I asked myself, what do I most want to write about? Because it's what you're going to be living and studying and breathing and eating and sleeping for years. And what I wanted at the time was to be happy. I had all the success that I'd ever wanted in life, but I still wasn't happy. So I decided to write Happy for No Reason and do all of the research about how someone could be happier. And I interviewed hundreds of people. I interviewed researchers. I interviewed people who were already really happy, who were living in a state of unconditional happiness. And I practiced what they taught me. I did what they said, and it worked. I really became happier, like enormously. You know, I would say I was a D+ in happiness before, and then I became an A to an A-.
So what does that look like day to day? So what does that mean? Like, explain a little bit about the difference being happier versus what you were before. I think people need to recognize that.
Yeah. So on the outside, you might not be able to see a big difference. It's such a great question. Nobody's ever asked me that way. So I love that. So on the outside, you wouldn't perhaps notice that much difference. You know, when I was unhappy, I had a lot of great things.
Right.
But there was an inner feeling. I would say my energy was much less vibrant and vital. I had a lot more anxiety. And I felt pressure a lot. I felt actually a kind of an emptiness in my heart. And when after having practiced these habits of happy people, I felt really happy to wake up in the morning. I felt everything looked different. You know, the day really looked sunnier. People looked friendlier because I felt better. And so I knew that what I had learned about happiness really worked. And it had worked not only on me, but on like thousands of people that I taught it to. So I asked myself, what do I want more than happiness? And really, there was only one word, and that's love. It's the only thing that humanity, we all want more than happiness, and that is to experience love. And, you know, I don't know about you, but my guess is that you've had similar experiences to what I've had, and that you have fallen in love.
Yes.
And life is fabulous.
Yes.
And then something happens and it falls apart, and life is not so fabulous.
Right.
Or you could be looking at a beautiful sunset and you're in that elevated state of love and unity. And then, you're in a crowded supermarket and you're not feeling that. And I thought, I want to know, could people feel that kind of unconditional love no matter what was going on in their life? And that was my question. And so I interviewed a ton of people who I thought were living more of an expanded state of love. And I found out that the news is good. Just like with happiness, you can raise what's called your happiness set point. You can also raise your love set point. And I want to be able to share with people today some of the things that they can do. I want to get really practical with you. I'm totally into practical.
Good.
So,
yeah, because people, I don't know about you, maybe it's a blessing that I've had so many skeptical people in my life. Or people, when I spoke to you earlier about, I want to bridge that gap for the people that roll their eyes, oh brother, love, here we go, love. I don't know why there's so many people in my life like that, but perhaps that's useful. I remember the Beatles. The Beatles had the whole world. Half the world was like, oh brother, and half the world was right on board. I know
all
that
you need is love, love, love is
all you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Let it be, and don't worry, be happy. Those were my 3 song titles.
Yeah, I love that. Those are great mantras, by the way.
Thank you.
All of those.
So love for no reason. You call it a new paradigm of love.
Right.
What does that mean? Yeah.
So here's why it's really, it's ancient. It's built in ancient wisdom, but it's not how most of us think about love. Most of us think about love as something that we give or we get.
Yes.
I'm going to give love or I'm going to get love.
Right.
But the reality is we are love. It is our essence. Yes. It's the truth of who we are. And every spiritual tradition throughout history has said that.
Right.
And when you actually experience, it's not a matter of knowing it in your mind, it's a matter of actually experiencing it in your heart and in the cells of your body. This isn't some airy-fairy talk. Right. This is actually something that you experience in your body. We can measure it biochemically. We could hook you up to heart monitors and show whether you're in heart rhythm coherence. And when you are living in that state of love, then you aren't looking to your outer circumstances to extract love. But instead, you are being love, and it just shows up wherever you are.
I 100% agree with that. And I will say, if you can help the audience understand that a little bit more, because I get it. I know what it means to say, I am love. I am the energy of love. I vibrate at the energy of love. But do you find that that's hard for people to get that? This concept of being an energy of love?
It's, okay, so definitely I get it where it could be hard. So let's just talk for a minute about the idea of energy. Because it's really a key piece to this whole thing. So scientists say that everything in the universe is energy. There was I was one of the teachers in The Secret, and it's about the law of attraction, and the law of attraction is based on the idea that everything in the universe is energy.
Right.
And there's energy that vibrates at different energetic vibrations. Love is the highest energetic vibration there is. That's why it feels so good. It's a high energetic vibration. Some people may be familiar with the research of Dr. Masaru Emoto from Japan, who looked at water, and he took water from the same source, and he would break it into two different jars, and he would have school children send one jar of water, hate and anger, I hate you, you're terrible, and they would send the other jar love. I love you, you're wonderful. I mean, how crazy is this? You're talking to jars of water. These are school kids talking to jars of water.
Wow.
But then we would take that water, freeze it, and look at the frozen water crystals under a microscope. And the ones that were sent the messages of anger, and the water that was sent the messages of anger, looked horrible. I mean, it looked ugly. Anybody looking at it would go, that's ugly. The water crystals from the jar of the water that was sent love were beautiful. They were like the most beautifully formed snowflakes. And, you know, our bodies are 80% water. So the message that we send ourselves impact us greatly, impact our energy. Now I'm going to go one step further because I know that's still very esoteric, but I'm going to bring it back to hard science in the West.
Okay.
There is a group called the Institute of Heart Math. They're the world's leading researchers on the heart and on love and how it affects us.
And they're scientists at this place, aren't they?
They are scientists, well respected throughout the world. I mean, they're teaching their technologies to major corporations in America. They're teaching them to the U.S. Army. You know, veterans coming home with PTSD. They're teaching their techniques. So here's what they found. They found that when we feel anger, we go into what's called heart rhythm incoherence, and you can see it on a chart where your heart rhythms are erratic. But when we're feeling love, you go into heart rhythm coherence, where your heart rhythms are very smooth. And you can actually, anybody can hook themselves up to one of these monitors and you can see it for yourself. Now what's amazing also they found is that 5 minutes of anger can suppress your immune system for up to 6 hours, whereas 5 minutes of love can strengthen your immune system for 6 hours. So that's the science. Now, how about if we get practical about it and I show you what they tell people to do?
Please.
Okay, great. So I love this technique that I'm going to share with you. It's so simple, and it comes from the Institute of Heart Math.
Okay.
And they have said that if you do this for 2 minutes only, it's not even 5 minutes, it can move you from the stress response, which is a scientific term for what happens when we feel stressed out, to the love response, which is also a scientific term that was coined by Dr. Eva SelfLove of Harvard. And this love response is what we feel when we are in that state of heart rhythm coherence. And this technique can move us there. So I'm gonna teach it to you. It's 3 steps. Now I want everybody to do it along with us.
Yes,
because
please.
we'll give you no benefit to just watch us do it. You gotta try it yourself. So now, Neerja, can I ask you to be my guinea pig for this?
Yes.
So you can do this with your eyes opened or closed, but it goes a little deeper if you are able to be, if you're in a place where you can close your eyes. So because we are, I'm going to ask us to close our eyes. And if you're listening and watching us, please close your eyes because we're not going to be doing anything that you need to see. So my eyes are closed also.
Okay, me too.
So step number 1 is to simply place the palm of your hand over your heart. Now that simple act of putting your hand on your heart starts the flow of a chemical called oxytocin. And oxytocin is dubbed the love hormone because it's what we have a lot of when we are feeling bonded or connected with each other. So mothers who are breastfeeding have tons of oxytocin, or even when we make love, we have lots of oxytocin. But just right now with your hand on your heart, you're stimulating the flow of oxytocin. Now the second step is to imagine that you're breathing in and out through the center of your heart. You can either picture or feel that, but just imagine that your breath is coming into your heart and going out of your heart. You're inhaling into your heart, you're exhaling out of your heart. And you're going at your own pace, just imagining your breath coming in and out of your heart. Now the third step is on each inhale, imagine that you're breathing in love, ease, and compassion. Now your exhales are just normal exhales, imagining exhaling out of the heart. But in the inhale, breathe into your heart love, breathe in ease, breathe in compassion. And do this at your own pace. Breathing in love, ease, and compassion with each inhale, and breathing out normally. And you can either just internally say the words love, ease, and compassion, and it creates a deep response, or you can remember a time when you were feeling love or ease or compassion. And one more deep breath, taking in love, ease, and compassion into your heart. And on the exhale, you can slowly take your hand away and you can open your eyes whenever you feel ready.
It's an immediate soothing response, immediate soothing. Wow.
So I want everybody right now to just feel how you feel in your body right now and how you feel different emotionally. Now that was just 2 minutes. I want you to notice what's your physical response, what's your emotional response. And so Neerja, you're my guinea pig. Tell me, how do you feel any differently physically and or emotionally?
It's like a level of relaxation was achieved that I didn't know I could, like I didn't know I wasn't relaxed. I didn't realize I wasn't. Because now I feel more relaxed. And when you say the word compassion, to me, it makes me go into, because I'm an actor also, so I have this little I cheat a little bit. I'm an actor. I'm good at channeling those. My acting teacher says actors are suggestible. That's what makes us actors, is because we can take an emotion and inhabit it.
Yeah.
So when I think of the word compassion, I don't know, I just think of cute children, cute puppy. I just think of all these things that make my heart melt just from that association, and then I smile and I feel.
So is that how you felt? Let's go back to, how did you feel?
I felt the mother in me kick in, the maternal instinct to just love everybody. I was there.
Yeah. So here's what I noticed. That's beautiful. I've done this with thousands of people, and what I've noticed is that most people feel some kind of a shift, like you just did. Some people feel more grounded. Some people feel more inner peace. Some people just feel more balanced and at ease. Like you, some people feel that mothering, nurturing tendency. Some people have physical sensations like warmth in their heart or even tingling in their hands and feet. All of these are signs of moving into the love response. And here's the trick about this. Doing that once is just a nice experience. It won't be any significant change in your life. But here's what will change things and what I recommend. Do this 2 or 3 times a day for the next 2 weeks. And what you'll find is you'll start to make a habit of being in the love response. It just becomes more and more your automatic or your fallback state. And that's what we're looking for. Here's what I found. We all have what's called a love set point. And it's like an upper limit or a glass ceiling to our ability to give and receive love.
Wow.
It's like a thermostat setting where, you might have a boost of love here or feel really bad here, but you kind of return to your original love set point. And what we want to do is we want to raise the thermostat setting or raise that love set point so that you actually can experience love on a more ongoing basis.
And then you won't tolerate those non-loving moments.
Right, exactly. Or, it's not like life turns around on a dime, they'll happen, but you'll be more resilient, more able to deal with them.
I have to tell you,
able to bounce back.
Today I was buying a dessert for Thanksgiving tomorrow. I was at Whole Foods and I fell. I slipped on something on the floor. And, and do you know, my first thought was, okay, life happens. You have to laugh and smile and really not let this bring you down. It was amazing. I have fallen before like anybody else, but today I was like, I'm just not interested in letting this bring me down. So I was immediately put my head, I'm grateful for the dessert, I'm grateful for nothing else. Because I don't like, my desire to be happy is bigger than my propensity to worry, doubt, and fear. It took me a long time to get there.
Fabulous. It also probably gave you an opportunity to see how people reached out to you. I imagine that people were around and they helped.
Yeah,
or said
what happened? Yeah, and that's a great point because of the look for the helpers, right? When something
let them in. Let in the help. Most
helpers.
people,
that's even better.
And most people, and especially women, are not very trained at being able to receive.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. But how is that tied into self-love? How does
That's
that
right.
tie into self-love, the ability
Oh,
to
hugely. When we can't experience more, when we don't feel love for ourselves, when we feel judgmental and critical of ourselves, we have a very hard time feeling worthy of letting in the love that we're so craving. So sometimes it's not about it not being available, it's about us not being available to open up to it.
Well, that's my biggest lesson in love, quite frankly, is loving myself. And miracles truly do occur in life every day because of that love for yourself.
Can I share with you? Can I share with you a story of someone that I interviewed in Love for No Reason?
Yes.
It's about miracles.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Oh, good.
And love. It's about self-love and miracles. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Good.
So I interviewed this woman named Sally Sals. And a friend of mine had told me about her, and that, I was looking for people who were like living in in a great state of love. And Sally told me this story about how the week before her 50th birthday, how she had suddenly become very ill, like violently ill, and was rushed to the emergency room. And after examining her, the doctors told her that her liver was failing, and that it was so bad that if she didn't find another liver, if they didn't give her a liver transplant in the next few days, she would die.
Oh my.
This was totally out of the blue. She had no family history of liver disease. She didn't drink. She had no idea where this was coming from. Well, fortunately, after 2 days, they did find her a liver transplant, and they did the transplant surgery, and it went beautifully. And everything was great for the next year. But a year later, she went back to the doctor for just a routine physical, and he told her that her second liver was failing and that she would probably need another transplant in a few months. Well, again, she was shocked. She had no idea why this was happening to her. But on that particular visit, she happened to coincidentally or synchronistically be sitting next to someone in the waiting room who had just had her third liver transplant in 3 years.
My God.
And the woman was the most angry, negative, critical person that Sally had ever met. And it reminded Sally that in Chinese medicine, the liver is associated with anger. And, in Chinese medicine, all of our organs are associated with different emotions.
Right.
And the liver was associated with anger. And so Sally thought, okay, where am I angry in my life?
Good.
And she realized that she wasn't often very angry outwardly, but she had a lot of inner anger. She was very critical and judgmental towards herself, and she'd grown up in a family that was very judgmental. It was, she was never good enough. And I think a lot of people can relate to that I'm never good enough feeling. So in that moment of recognition, Sally made a commitment to herself to practice self-love 5 minutes every day. And that's what she did. She practiced some self-love practices that, some of which I teach, every day for 5 minutes. 2 months later, she went back to the doctor for the exam to get ready for her next transplant surgery. And the doctor came in and sat her down and said, Sally, I don't know what's just happened. I've never seen this before, but your liver is completely healed. You do not need that surgery, he said. It's a medical miracle.
Wow.
Now, Neerja, that was 18 years ago. Sally has never needed that liver transplant. She is one of the happiest and most love-filled human beings I've ever met. And she said it was that one turnaround of starting to practice self-love that has created miracle after miracle after miracle in her life. She's married, I think 6 months later, she met the man of her dreams. They're deeply, happily married. And so I have seen the power of love to change people's health, to change their relationships, to change their career, to change their finances, to change, you name it.
I mean, I'm just blown away. The mind-body connection and the medical miracles that I've been hearing. I mean, how much more real does it get? I mean, how much more proof of the power of love?
Yeah. And so here's one simple thing. I mean, I have some really beautiful techniques for self-love that take a little longer than this to teach. But I will share with you one thing that everybody can start doing right away. for greater self-love, and it's super simple. If you've got a pen and paper, I want you to write this down.
I'm writing it down.
That is, I want you to ask yourself a simple question twice a day. And the question is, what's the most loving thing that I can do for myself right now? What's the most loving thing I can do for myself right now? Because here's the trick. Most of us are used to taking care of everybody else, doing things for everybody else, and then we feel it's selfish if we take care of ourselves.
Yes.
It's actually not selfish at all.
Right.
And so how do you do that? You know, that's some kind of grand thing. Oh, I have to love myself. Well, let's get really practical. How do you love yourself? One simple step is to stop and ask yourself, what's something loving I can do for myself right now? Now, for some of you, the answer may be, I can go get a glass of water, or I can walk outside and get some fresh air.
Right.
For some of you, the answer could be, I could just talk to myself more lovingly right now.
Yes.
Or I could honor and acknowledge myself. Or I could pick up a phone and call a friend and get the support that I need. You know, and here's the thing. If you do this, it's simple. You ask yourself the question and you go, you follow the inner wisdom that comes out about what's the most loving thing you can do for yourself. And if you do this a couple times a day, you start to get used to the fact that you can trust yourself, that you're actually a very good caretaker of yourself. And it becomes more and more ingrained, and this is one of the ways to build your self-love muscle.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because trusting yourself,
Yeah.
no matter how many nice things you do for yourself, you nourish your body, you exercise, you take care of your external appearance, you give love, you receive love, all of those things. But I find that trusting yourself is like, it's for me, it's like the level 6, starting at level 1, because that's so important. If you get to a point where you trust yourself, it's like trusting your most beloved friend, which is you.
Absolutely. And the reason that we don't trust ourselves is that we haven't been trained to listen to ourselves and to honor ourselves.
Honor ourselves, that's right.
We really haven't been trained. So if something, even our bodies, you know, if there's a pain in your body, it's there to tell you something.
Yes.
It's your friend. And I know that, you know, that doesn't sound great, but it's there to tell you something.
Right.
And same with our, you know, we all have that inner voice that we hear, but we don't necessarily listen to it and pay attention to it. And so part of it is really starting to honor yourself more. And I recognize there's a lot of fear in, you know, if your inner voice is saying, oh my God, get rid of that boyfriend, or oh my God, you got to quit that job, it's killing you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to listen to it because it's inconvenient. We know that, you know, it means that we're going to have to go through some period of discomfort, you know, breaking up with that bad relationship or leaving that job that isn't fulfilling.
Mm.
But when we start listening to ourselves more and more and getting the support that we need, then we start finding that we can turn our lives into the lives that we were meant to have. You know, we were really meant, life isn't a trick. We really were meant to have those deepest heart's desires that we have.
That's great. I need to hear that more often. I think many of us do. So you mentioned 7 steps. You mentioned something earlier about giving us some steps or some kind of...
Well, some practical tools. So I gave you 2 practical tools right now.
The hand on the heart, right?
Hand on the heart. It's called the inner ease technique.
Inner ease technique.
And then this very simple little practice of asking yourself, what's the most loving thing that I could do for myself right now?
Great question, yeah.
You know, in Love for No Reason, I have 14 specific practices that people can do to raise their love set point. And, you know, that I also have a questionnaire in there where you can see where you are on the love scale. And the other thing I'm gonna share with you is I've got for happiness I have 21 habits and practices that you can do, and also a questionnaire to see where you are on the happiness scale. And what I'm happy to do is to share with everybody, to give you for free this workbook. It's a 28-page workbook with all of these happiness habits in them, and all of these tools and techniques that you can use along with the workbook, along with the questionnaire. I'm sorry.
put that
So
link on the
for
bottom
that,
of this. Yeah.
you just go to happyfornoreason.com for that.
Oh, great. Okay.
Happyfornoreason.com. You put in your information, and it will give you. Actually, you might need to go to happyfornoreason.com/workbook.
Oh, okay. And we'll include that. Let me write that down.
Okay, excellent.
/workbook. We'll put the everybody will have the text links. Will be very easily
Wonderful.
accessible. So I have some final questions that I hope that we can talk about. Something
You
I
bet.
think is excited about. We talked about love and miracles. We talked about they go hand in hand. You mentioned support, getting support, and I know you have a women's mentoring program. So what I'd love to hear about that, and I would love to hear about this program and creating love, the bridge between your desires and the miracles and fulfilling them.
Yeah.
With this program.
Yeah. So here's what happened. About a year ago, I realized that I often use the word miracle relative to my life. I feel like I'm living a miraculous life. I wake up
Great.
and what I want to have happening is happening, and amazing things happen during my day. I mean, like just people show up that happen out of nowhere that fulfill the need that I happen to have that day for whatever it was. I mean, it's just like miracles, day in and day out.
Harmony,
living in the flow of the universe, really.
Yes, beautiful.
And it's working. And so I decided that I was going to do a mentoring program where I would take 8 women under my wing and mentor them for a year in how to create a miraculous life,
Wow.
whatever that means for them, one-on-one.
Wow.
And we're about halfway into this program. By the way, I had 1,100 women apply for this program, and I could only
8
take
got in? Oh, wow. Wow.
So I realized there's a whole lot more need out there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done is I have actually partnered with my very first mentor ever, a woman named Deborah Poneman, who was my mentor when I was 22 years old. And
oh my, your mentor. Wow.
my mentor. She's a huge success expert and amazing woman, and she knows how to create a miraculous life as well. And so we partnered, and in 2014 we're just sharing with people, we can't wait to, a 1-year program called Your Year of Miracles. And what we're going to do is each person is going to take 3 miracles that they want to create in their life in 2014.
Oscar.
And
Oscar.
we are going to guide you
Wow.
on creating those miracles. And we're probably going to have a group of about 500 women.
Wow.
And it's going to be so powerful. It is. We are so excited about it. I mean, the kinds of success I've been having with the women that I'm going to be sharing the same thing that I'll share with this group. We're having women who've doubled their income. One woman was separated from her husband. They're back together in the most exquisite relationship she could imagine.
Ooh, exquisite.
One woman has lost 40 pounds easily, not even any problem. It was from a whole new way of looking at it and experiencing the idea of losing weight. So it doesn't matter what your issue is. These principles will work, and so it's very, very exciting. We're thrilled about it. There's enormous power in a group.
That's what I was just going to ask you to talk about. Yes.
Yeah. In fact, Lynn McTaggart, who wrote The Intention Experiment and a book called The Bond and another book called The Field, she's kind of the expert out there on the power of group intention. And she's going to be working with us. So it's not just your intentions, it's other people supercharging your intentions.
Wow.
So that it goes so much more easily. I mean, that's what we're finding is when you have this power of this whole group charging up your intentions, it puts you on a whole exponential track for getting what it is you want.
Which is not an experience most of us have access to. I don't know many people that have ever done a group mentoring. It's a new
I don't know that this particular thing has ever been done before, because we are using the most cutting edge findings that people are finding on the power of intention and how specifically to use it. So that's one big aspect of all of this. And we're going to give you the total program. We're laying out every single thing. These are not hard things to do.
No.
So this is the thing, but they do require that you do take action. So I invite everybody. We actually also have a free a free online seminar that we offer called The 3 Secrets to Living a Miraculous Life, and I invite everybody to be part of that online seminar. It's our gift to you for free.
And
The 3 Secrets.
Is it a time for that, or is it like you can access it at any
There
time?
is a specific time that we're doing it live. And then you'll be able to get the replays of that as well.
And
so
your website, will that have your website?
In December, here's where you go to for that. You go to www.youryearofmiracles.com, www.youryearofmiracles.com, and you can find out all about that.
We'll include all of that. This is so
Wonderful.
fabulous. I just love talking to people about love. Because I believe so wholeheartedly that if we all just relaxed and put our happiness as a priority and put loving ourselves as a priority, that the spillover is going to be, the major miracle that this world needs. And I love the way A Course in Miracles calls the miracle a shift in perception.
Yes.
A shift in perception towards love. So it's all shades of love out there instead of shades of fear, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you just said, because often, especially women will say to me, isn't it selfish to want to feel good? What about the world? And it's actually what you're just saying. It's the least selfish thing that we can do, because when we feel better, we impact the world. In fact, I love to always share this Chinese proverb that I think sums up why you're doing what you're doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, why really we all are here. And it goes like this. It says, when there is light in the soul, there will be beauty in the person. When there is beauty in the person, there will be harmony in the house. When there is harmony in the house, there will be order in the nation. And when there is order in the nation, there will be peace in the world. And that's my prayer and wish for all of us, that we feel that love in our hearts. And through that, we create peace here on this planet of ours.
Well, the divine in me bows at the divine in you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you to you, and thank you to everybody who's listening, because you're here for a reason. Your soul brought you to this conversation. And so I know that there was something in this that your soul was wanting to hear, and I just really appreciate that we all got to come together in this gathering.
Thank you. I believe we all want to believe that all you need is love.
Yes.
And I do believe in letting it be, and I do believe that if you don't worry and you be happy, life's going to be grand. Thank you,
I'm with you on all those.
Shimoff. You are wonderful.
Thank you.